Hello and welcome to this World Electrolysis Congress pre-event interview. I'm joined by Lukas Schuffelen, partner for transactions and industry at BET. Welcome, Lucas.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me.
So just to start off, would you be okay giving our audience a bit of background to yourself and some of your work in the hydrogen space and a bit of background to your organization?
Yeah, sure. Studied electrical engineering back in the day. It's been now with BET for 16 years. Have been involved in a bit of policy advisory and now focusing on the decarbonization of the industry sector, especially, and the M&A business of BET. BET is 100 people of consultancy in the energy branch in German-based. German-speaking countries are the core of our consultancy, but we are active in Central Western Europe along the whole value chain of the energy system, doing consultancies for several parties, utilities, as well as the industry, and are heavily involved along the topics of hydrogen, especially from different angles for the supply side as well as the demand side. This is what we can bring to the table in projects that we, let's say, understand both parties and understand and look at the topic from different angles as well, from a regulatory point of view, a technical point of view, as well as a commercial point of view. And our goal is to bring ecological development with economical development together along the way.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And so you've mentioned obviously a bit of your background working with both sides of the coin, really, with supply and demand. So what sort of market challenges have you seen arise, over the last few years?
I think looking at Europe, the EU regulation is highly complex. That obviously doesn't help, giving the framework, which is super complex to a evolving market. So it is different for every country in particular, looking at the individual obstacles, etc., and looking at it from a overview on EU level. The guidelines are super complex in detail. That, let's say, doesn't help that it is that complex. Looking at it from an industrial perspective, the current price level to produce is not yet comparable or competitive against CH4 solutions. So we need some level of incentivization or incentives given by the public authorities. That gap needs to be filled. That is something which is different in each country and is developing over time to some extent. And from electrolyzer perspective, the standalone production is currently not really competitive, as I said, and that needs to be said. It needs to be optimized from my point of view or from our point of view against all market levels that there is within the electricity market.
Okay. And so what role can BET and wider industry play in sort of negating these challenges?
Yeah, from my point of view, we have a really deep understanding developed over the last years of regulation, of the guidelines and boundaries it has, but also on the potential which lies within the regulation, to see in which country has which positives and negatives, and what are the chances that is given to the suppliers on the electrolyzer side in the different countries as well. As I said, from my point of view, the optimization of an electrolyzer needs to be done in several parts. It needs to be done on all electricity market levels, not only day ahead or PPA, but also against all balancing markets. It is to be analyzed if it is sufficient to have a battery, etc. So that is something which we develop own tools for the optimization, as well as in decision making beforehand, as well as in operation. And third, as I said, we are working for both parties. So we have a good view and understanding for both sides. And therefore, we help in negotiation between offtake and supply contracts to form a common understanding within the process of getting it done.
Okay, brilliant. And just sort of finally, what are your thoughts on the green or electrolytic hydrogen market moving forward?
Yeah, from my point of view, it has been, to be honest, more positive 2 years ago. The last year was a bit, or the beginning of this year was a bit downside. So from a feeling perspective in the whole industry, I guess. But looking forward, there is no way around hydrogen. From my knowledge and my market rumor experience, there will be projects coming, and now it is the time window to get into the second phase, to get the framework for imports from out of Europe done, get a feeling for the market, prices that will rise, will come up, let's say, and that will lead to a situation where we get a more stable view and a more backed view on where the prices for hydrogen, for RFMBO and low carbon, that needs to be divided always, will develop. And this is the maturity level we will hopefully get within the next 1 and 2 years. And then it is viable for the industry sector to then form a better view on when to switch to hydrogen and to sign offtake contracts.
Yeah, so to sort of help them build their business case.
Exactly.
Okay, brilliant. Well, yeah, thank you for your time today, Lukas. For all those interested, Lukas will be joining us and a range of hydrogen experts at World Electrolysis Congress 2025. So it'd be great to have you from the audience there as well in Cologne next year from February 10th to 13th. So thank you again, Lukas, and see you next year.
Thanks for having me and looking forward.
Thank you.